Hey everybody, this is Adam from the Honest Home Inspector. Today we're going to be going through how you can stay fit at home by building your very own power rack. During the building of the power rack, we're going to go through the planning stages so you can get everything together that you need in order to build this power rack. We're going to go through all the cuts that need to happen in order to make the power rack fit together nicely once you start to assemble it. We're going to go through the assembly to make this into a very stable and rugged piece of equipment that's going to last you for a very long time. And then finally, we're going to go through some steps that can be done in order to make the power rack look like it's not made at home and that it's completely pro and ready to go for you to use. And a special thank you to Buff Dudes for making a video originally on describing how to build this power rack. Also, to perform this project, you're going to want some sort of long, straight edge. In this case, we have a drywall square. We want a speed square in order to find a way to make our cuts quickly. We're going to use an impact driver, tape measure, of course, and a drill. Part of this project is going to have some very large holes. So we have an 1.25 inch drill bit for making those holes very quickly. We want to reinforce this rack in as many ways as possible to make it strong. So we have these flat plates as well as 90-inch angles. We're going to be using number 8 construction 2.5-inch screws. When we're all done, we're going to use some Rust-Oleum Ultra Cover flat black to make it look awesome. We're going to be using 3/4 inch black piping. There's 2 of those guys at 5 feet long, another one at 4 feet. That's going to be my pull-up bar. And then you're going to take these 5-footers, put a 90-degree angle in another 3-inch section. And then for the spot that's actually going to hold our weights, we have an end cap, I believe, 5-inch section, a coupler, a 1.5-inch section, and a floor flange that we'll install later. When we're all done, to make it pretty, we got a $2.50 pack of stencils so that we can label our holes. For cutting, I have a radial saw. Now you can also use a miter saw or simply a hand saw or a skill saw, anything that can get the 4-inch pieces of lumber cut. For each side, you need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We need 14 10-inch support posts. So the first thing that we can do is use this guy for its 45-degree angle. So we match that up, go down to here, that corner, across to there. We want this side to be our 10-inch. So we'll take this guy, measure out our 10 inches right there. So we got 10 inches here, much smaller over there, and then that's going to fit up between the corners. So we're going to use our 45-degree adjustment, holding as far to the edge as possible. I should be able to take care of the remainder of the cut this direction. This is all provided that the ends are square, so it should be a good cut. All right. Now we have a nice 45 corner piece. We'll use this as a template. Go ahead and knock out the rest of it. Now that we have some of our 45 degree angle 10-inch braces cut. We can pause for a moment and see how everything's fitting together. So I've gone ahead and I've laid out a side with the 7-foot tall risers, the 43-inch across, and those 10-inch braces. These 90-degree metal angles, which you should buy 14 of, and these flat plates, which you should also buy 14 of. This will fit into the corner and be screwed in. And this will fit right across the tops and bottoms and be screwed in that way. The 45 degrees can be toe-nailed, so you want to drill a pilot hole and then toe-nail these guys in. But before we get too far, we want to go ahead and make the holes in our risers. And so I got this drywall square lined up at 1.75 inches off the side of the 4x4, sorry, which will give us a straight line down the center. From there, we're going to start at 12, make a mark for our drill. We're going to do 4.5 inches on center for all of our holes, and center is going to be right at the edge of this mark, and then half, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to do that all the way up, and then we're going to drill. Okay, we got our 4 uprights all lying in the same direction. We've gone ahead and measured 12 inches up for the first one, dot, 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 a bad hole there, 4.5 inches up, 4.5 inches up. Made sure that they're all across and they're marked on both sides, because my drill bit is not long enough to reach the other side. So with them there, since we know we're not going to pop out the other side, we can go ahead, get some nice centered action here. Don't have to worry about going all the way deep because you're going to flip it over. Do the same thing to this side. And hope that they meet up, which they do. There we go. We're going to do that to all of them. Okay, so now we have drilled 14 holes in each of the 4x4 uprights that are 7 feet tall. So we got 56 boards in all. Here we have a stack of 14 10-inch angles. We have 3 boards cut at 41 inches and 4 boards cut at 43 inches. Those 43-inch boards are going to be used for the side horizontals. They'll be connecting to the uprights on the sides. There is quite a bit of sawdust shavings from boring those holes. I would recommend that you use a bore that is able to go all the way through the 4x4. Flipping them over was quite an arduous task and resulted in things not lining up perfectly. Now we're going to get to getting the corner. We got the 43-inch board and a 7-foot upright. The 43-inch board is going to connect at a 90-degree angle using one of these 90-degree galvanized angles here. We're going to use the 2.5-inch screws. I like using these all-purpose construction screws because they have a really good bite to them and they self-feed. Okay, so I realized I had the wrong size bit on there. I was not able to get the full drive to the screw.
proper size bit, screw goes in nice and easily. And we're going to put on a flat metal tie plate. Now, depending on where you're working on the top or the bottom, you can put these in different places. It's going to be a top of the power rack, so we're just going to hide this tie plate on the top where no one will ever see it. When you're working on the bottom ends, I put the tie plates on the sides because I don't want them scraping on the ground when the power rack is in use and creating unlevel surfaces. You could also decide to put little non-skid feet on the bottom. That could help it with the power rack not moving around too much. So put as many screws in as you feel is necessary to create good stability in the power rack. I use between 3 and 4 on each side of the tie. Now that we have the 90-degree angle on and the tie rack on the top, we will finally use the 10-inch 45-degree brace. We're going to drill some pilot holes. Trust me that I'm drilling them even though I'm going to completely block the camera as I'm doing it. I'm going to do 2 holes on either side to ensure that the block does not split when you put the screw through it. And then you can fasten this. And this will make each corner very sturdy. And we're going to do that to each of the 4 corners. We got 43 inches across the top, 43 inches across the bottom, 7 feet up with 45-degree angles in between. See how I put the tie plates across the bottom, and then on the top they are completely out of sight. The only remaining pieces that we have is 3 boards that are 41 inches across, and those are going to connect the right and left sides of this power rack. It's best to stabilize the structure from the bottom first. Using one of the 41-inch 4x4 boards, we can go across the bottom and line everything up. It's useful to have some sort of partner to help you hold these uprights in place because they kind of dance around. So I've enlisted the help of my younger son, there he is, to help hold this thing in place while we get it positioned properly. And then we can use a 90-degree angle to put that in, stabilize it in place. Okay, so we're going to line this guy up. It's nice that everything in this power rack is just perfect 90-degree angles. And we're going to put these 90-degree ties on the bottom. I also enlisted the help of my younger daughter to hold the second upright. They were very happy to be involved in the process. Okay, we're going to put on this 90-degree angle, 3.5 inches from the top, so that the 4x4 has a place to rest. If you really want to make it more simple, you could drill a pilot hole so that the screw has somewhere to go more easily. Okay, so now we got these 2 shelves for the 41-inch 4x4. We can set that up on top now. Just do 1 screw in each side so that we have this in place. Now we're starting to get some real rigidity. It's moving less. Sides are connected. We're just going to put that last one across the front. We'll have all, and then we'll put in our angles. So there'll be 4, 1 in each corner of the top, 1 in each corner of the bottom of the back side, and then 2 more across the top of the front side that we will put in. We can also put some flat ties across the back of the structure to give some added strength to the side-by-side. We have a pretty sturdy rack. It's really able to take quite a bit of load without moving. So this iron is going to be used as a bailout bar. It's a 5-foot piece, 90-degree elbow, and another smaller piece on the down drop. And these should be able to hold some pretty heavy weights coming down on them. They work in kind of a grip fashion, like a gun handle, able to slide in and out, and you can adjust it to any level so that it accommodates the work that you're doing. The other thing that we have is a piece to hold the bar while it's in the resting position. So it has a cap, a 5-inch piece, a collar, a 1-inch piece, and the chair flange. And works really simply. Just insert the mechanism through the hole in the back and put on the cap. Try to tighten it up, just hand tightening will do. And with this, you'll be able to rest the weights on there and it will be nice and secure. So when you have the bailout bars in place, you'll be able to do squats or bench press and keep yourself safe.
Now that the rack is fully assembled, you could just leave it like this and it would look great just as it is. But I've chosen to go ahead and use some flat black to roll on and create that professional look. Okay, so I found that after rolling on the flat black, I didn't like the way that the holes were still bare wood. So I got the same kind of spray paint as I rolled on, and I'm using that to spray into the holes. Now, this would have been best if done before rolling on so that you won't have any dripping spray paint down the outside. We can just clean this up with a brush. Make it all nice and smooth. No paint drips. So the very last step that we can do to this power rack is to put some numbers on it. Now, numbers aren't necessary by any means, but it just helps it look a little bit more professional, and it also helps you with lining things up more easily in the future. So what we did is we went ahead and got these little tiny stencils that are about $2 at the hardware store, taped them onto a border, and grabbed some white spray paint that we had laying around in the basement. And we're going to put all of our numbers above. And I went ahead and threw on some black gloves so that I can confidently hold my number, spray paint my hand, and get that on there like so. Just like that. Now, this is going to take about another 20-30 minutes just in time to spray paint these things, but really not a big time investment. It makes it look a whole lot better.
And I apologize for my head